Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, we are looking at a gesture-controlled RC car that is sweet. You know what? Enough talk, let's get right into this review. Here is my gesture sensing stunt car. I'm very excited about this. You know what's funny though? About 2 weeks ago, I purchased this for just under $29, and I just checked now about 2 weeks later, and it's already up to $45. It's amazing how fast prices rise on pretty cool items. Let's do a quick unboxing. Here is everything unboxed. We have a traditional remote control plus our watch remote control. That's for that gesture type control. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we have our car, a charger, a screwdriver, and one battery. It makes me nervous because I have 3 items. I wish I had 3 different batteries. I will say the directions also told me I was supposed to have a water bottle, but maybe these directions are used for multiple units because this one does not squirt water. I guess there's one that does, but I don't have a water bottle in mind. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna charge up this battery, open up everything just to see what other kind of batteries I might need. I just plugged in the battery and the actual USB has a red light that shows me it's charging, so I guess that's a cool thing. At least I know what it's doing. All right. With the back taken off, we can see that the watch requires 2 AAA batteries, the remote control requires 2 AA batteries, and there's actually another battery already in the car, so I do appreciate that they sent us 2. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one out and make sure it's charged up as well, and I'm also gonna get batteries for my other 2 pieces. All right, so I have the batteries in all the 3 devices. I will say the watch was the only one that you have to put the screw back in, otherwise the back plate will not clip into place. These 2 actually click in, but I did put the screws back anyway, just so you know, don't get rid of the screw on the watch part. Let's turn these on and see what happens. Well, that was kind of sweet. Lights up and makes a chirping noise. To turn the watch on, you're actually just gonna have one short press on the left power button. Whoa, and my thing just took off running. That was scary. All right, so I picked this up off the floor and it was not broken. Let me show you some of the gestures that I've learned just so far. If I go forward with the car, it goes forward. If I bring it up to mid, it stops. If I push up, it moves around. I can go left, I can go right. It's actually really, really cool. I will learn more how to do this, but just so you know, as soon as you turn your watch on and the car is on, it's gonna go. All right, so now I wanted to show you some of the features in sort of a controlled environment. We're first gonna use the remote control. So to turn off that horrible noise, I'm gonna hit this button on the top right. And you see how the car turned off. Now I can turn it back on if I want to, but I kind of like it off. All right, so if I want to go forward, I just use this toggle on the left to go forward. And of course, I use that same toggle to go backwards. Now, if I want to go right, I just pop it right. And if I want to go left, I just pop it left. Oh, you know what? That sounds like I just popped a gear. If I want to make it just dance all by itself for about 20 seconds, I hit this button right here on the left side. It just moves all around, spins, it does all the different moves, back and forth. It's actually pretty cool. All right, so we already saw us going left and right. Now let's show us spin. So I'm gonna push backwards and left at the same time. Actually, I'll do backwards and right. And you can see how it just spins. The same thing would be if I hit the other direction. That's pretty cool. All right, the last thing I'm gonna show you with this remote is this actual blinking button. And this is how I can raise or lower the car itself. And I think that's a really cool feature, but it's just that button in the middle. Now we're gonna work on our gestures from our wristwatch. First things first, I'm gonna turn the watch on. I'm just gonna hit the power button to the left 1 time. You can see that now it's calibrating to the car itself. If I hit that same on-off button another time, watch the lights. You see how they turn to red? I hit that again, and I shut that horrible sound off altogether. This power button here on the right actually pushes pause. So if I click that, now I can move my hand left or right, and that car does not do anything. However, if I hit that pause button again and twist my wrist forward, that car is gonna take off. Bring it back. Very cool. Now I wanna show you what happens when you put your wrist right or left. There's to the right. Let's bring it back to the left. Pretty cool how you can direct that car. Now let's see what happens after we push this button that's on the part attached to our finger. You can see how now our car actually spins around instead of going left or right. The last thing I'm going to show you here with the watch is when I turn it upside down, I twist my wrist around, you see what happens to the car. It actually transformed to a different version. That's pretty cool. I can switch back around to bring it down again. Here I wanted to show you that you can use it outside, although I noticed on the grass it went a lot slower and wore the battery down quicker than if you were just on a regular flat surface, although it is pretty cool. But tell me, what are your thoughts of this gesture-controlled RC car? Do you love it? Do you not love it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. So as you can see, I ended up converting mine to a left-handed application. I do that because, well, my son is left-handed, and I'm going to show you how I did it. It was not very easy, but if you have a left-hander that wants to use this is how you do it. First thing I did was I pulled out the actual band just like that, so it came out of both sides. Here's the hard part. So I actually pinch this together as best I can and fit one side in, and then I fit the other side in, and then I sort of just push it down, still squeezing the new piece as it comes in, and then I just start pushing it down into the band holder. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'll just continue doing this. It took me about 15-20 minutes just to get the band to switch. Sometimes I slid it too fast and it popped out, but most of the time I can get it to work. All right, you can see I'm just now to the end of it, so I'm gonna try to pull the rest of it in and through. Once I get that last little bit in, I am done with this side, and I'll put on the other side. All right, so there we go. Now let's do the exact same thing on the other side. If I get to a point which is really tight and won't move, I end up using like a thin, this is just a pair of tweezers just to get it to go in there. Now, I'm not actually sure if the manufacturer recommends doing this, but for me, I was able to do it and it worked at least one time. I did notice that the rubber started to cut, so I probably won't swap it again. All right, so I've been messing around with this for a couple hours, and well, I just started to film, and I've noticed that I think I must have dislodged a gear, because before when I went to the right, it would slide to the right, or if it went to the left, it would slide to the left. Now it's sort of like doing a circle and one of the wheels is not moving. Let me show you. I'm gonna unpause it. Let's slide. See how it's like doing it into a circle? It's not supposed to. It's supposed to actually just slide straight to the side, but it's not. Very interesting. I definitely think I popped a gear on this wheel right here on the right. It definitely sounds like it's more of a grinding noise. Can you listen to this? As compared to the other wheel. The one here on the right seems like it popped off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off these two wheels and sort of take this apart just to see what's inside. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the included screwdriver to pop off both wheels. And now that both wheels are off, this one feels like it's still connected to the gear. This one feels like it's very loose. So now there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that I'm gonna remove. Now I'm just using that same screwdriver that came with the car. All right, so even though I'm not gonna turn it on, I still do think it's best practice to take off the battery. They also don't recommend you taking apart your car, and I do believe this will void any kind of warranty, but to be honest with you, mine doesn't work anymore. I don't know if you can see our problem, but I see it right away. See this gear is completely turned. I'm gonna try to get it back into place and lock it down, but that's my problem because the one on this side is very straight and this one is crooked. So we're gonna try to get this locked back in to see if I can get this to work. I'm also gonna take the time to clean some of this out. All right, I was able to get this to go straight, but I noticed that the pin is actually a little too small for the space. So my thought is maybe the pin shifted and that's why the whole gear shifted. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put the cap back on, put the wheels on, and test out our left and our right. Here we go, the moment of truth. Let's see if our fix actually worked. Let's turn that horrible music off. All right, we're gonna gesture one way. Cool, now the other way. It seems to have worked, very cool. Yeah, much better. The wheels are all moving like they're supposed to. So it looks like our little fix worked. In this video, we are taking a look at a gesture-controlled RC car that also had, well, a remote control. So what did I think about? Well, I searched Amazon and I found the cheapest one. I thought, I'm gonna get this. Well, then 2 weeks later, it's up there as expensive as the other ones. That was a little frustrating. I purchased it for a rate around $30, and now I've seen it as high as $45. I've used this for a few hours and, well, it almost seemed like mine broke. Now, it did drop a few times, so I don't know if that's what caused or if it was the pin inside on that one gear was just too small because it keeps popping out and I have to keep putting it back into place. I have reached out to the company. They're actually going to exchange it, so I'm going to send this one back and they're going to send me a new one, but that is something I experienced. I really like that they included 2 batteries because I get about 40 minutes of use out of each, so I guess that's like an 80-minute runtime, but I kind of wish they had batteries for either the wristwatch or the remote control because I had to go get those myself. It is pretty difficult to handle, but it really is a lot of fun to use. Anyway, that was my full review of this gesture-controlled RC car. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by and I hope you have a great day. I tell you one thing that gets frustrating, because I don't know which way is front, which way is back. If the car is facing where it's not its front, and I push forward, it'll go actually backwards and vice versa. So you just gotta make sure you know which direction the car is going, because sometimes your controls may be backwards. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of this gesture-controlled RC car. You know what? Not that long ago, I actually reviewed this sweet thing. It's a wonder ball, a hoverball, boomerang ball, whatever you're gonna call it. It is actually pretty sweet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link that review right up here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right there. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.